Whether you're a sysadmin, you're in cybersecurity, or a developer, one thing holds true. The cloud is obviously ramping up very, very high, and we're seeing this in multiple different statistics based on revenue coming in for clouds, based on who's using the cloud, based on all different other types of services that are available in the cloud. So what can you do to kind of start preparing for this? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Levan. Thank you so much for joining me today. And what we're going to talk about is a few different steps that you can take to start breaking into the cloud today. So, number one, certifications. We're kind of always seeing certifications being bounced around. Whether or not certifications are good, bad, I'm not going to get into that debate. However, what I will say is the certification curriculum is awesome. So really what it's going to do is it's going to tell you, what you should be doing, what you're going to need to learn. So the AWS Solutions Architect, the AWS DevOps Engineer, the AWS Developer Associate, they have a key curriculum of the things that you need to pass the test. Now, whether or not you want to take the test or not, that doesn't really matter. The part that actually matters is all the stuff that you can learn from it. So you can go through the guides, you can learn all about CI/CD in AWS, you can learn about, the different developer tools and serverless and, all that stuff, all the different services. So that's a really great place to start if you don't have cloud knowledge, but you want to break in. The second thing is labs. So luckily, when it comes to like AWS, for example, you have 12 months of free tier service. And then even after that, there's still free services. And even if you use a service that isn't free, here's the really cool part. You're getting charged per hour. So let's say, you're playing with, Elastic Kubernetes services for 2 or 3 hours. You're probably only going to get charged a few dollars, literally, like, between $2 and $10 maybe, if that. So, you literally get charged like cents or dollars per hour. So as long as you delete what you're using, you're good to go. And the really cool thing is you can lab that up yourself. So you can go and Google, getting started with EKS, for example, and then you can follow that guide and then you can learn all about it as you're doing it and get the explanations. The third thing is books. There are a ton of different Kindle books that you can get out there for AWS, and a lot of them are project focused. So what you can do is, like, for example, I have a 49-inch screen here. So what I could do is I could say, have a Kindle page up here, where I have the book. And then right over here, I can have my AWS portal open. So I could literally be going through it as I'm reading, right? Let's say you have 2 monitors. You could do the same thing. Monitor 1 has the Kindle. Monitor 2 has the lab. So that's a really, really good way that, you could kind of jump in and start learning as you're going. The fourth way is on the job. So, a lot of organizations are moving to the cloud today. So let's say you're a systems administrator or you're an infrastructure engineer or something. You're like, what? Really want to break into the cloud. You could start small. You can maybe go to your manager, VP, whoever, and be like, hey, listen, I know we're using these, SMB file shares here on this Windows server, but there might be an easier, more highly available and cheaper way to do it in Amazon S3. So, you could literally take what you're doing already at work and maybe move it into the cloud or something like that. Now, another great thing is, again, staying in the mantra of like doing it where you are right now in terms of your job. Maybe there's another team, a cloud team, and you could go to your manager and you could say, hey, if I come in an hour early or if I stay an hour late or something, can I sit and kind of shadow the cloud team and kind of see what they're doing? That way you can get some like actual hands-on experience. Now, maybe your hands won't be on the keyboard, but you'll still see what's happening from like a production perspective in a real world environment. Now, the final thing, and this could probably be a little bit difficult, but it's possible because I've done it. You can, look for maybe an MSP or a managed service provider or a startup company or something like that. Someone that maybe won't pay you as much, because you're learning and stuff. However, they'll have the opportunity for you. Perfect example is this. Let's say there's a startup and they're like, what, we really need somebody to come in here and manage this with some sysadmin experience. They can kind of learn as they're going, quite frankly, because they probably don't have the $200,000 or $300,000 to pay somebody that's experienced. Maybe they're going to pay you, pennies to that. However, you'll still be learning. So the idea is, to get into a company that need somebody that's passionate, dedicated, willing to learn, but they're not going to really be able to pay you as much, which again is perfectly fine when you're first starting out. You could do that for 6 months or a year and then hop into a better job. So definitely look for those organizations. Maybe you can look on LinkedIn or Indeed or, even Upwork, different places like that to actually get your foot in the door somewhere. So with that, there's 5 quick tips that you can use to break into the cloud today from a learning perspective and from a hands-on perspective. Thank you so much for watching.